Good morning, I'm Giovanni Hampton filling in for Sean tonight. We are here with Leon County today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. Sheriff, thank you so much for having me on this show for my first time.
Well, Giovanni, welcome. You'll enjoy this show. You'll act like Sean is not even here. Today's show is one that I think we can really share a lot with our audience out there about what's going on out there in the internet world. These folks who are preying on our kids, getting our kids with these devices that they have, and it's something I'm not that knowledgeable of, but our guest here today, Jeremy, will talk about that in great detail. And I'm looking forward to sharing that with our citizens, because one of the things we want to do is make sure we fortify our community, and one of those things we make sure we try to do is to fortify our kids. Many times the crimes that take place enter into our communities, into our homes through our kids, and parents out there need to know about what they can do to help keep their kids in a safe spot.
Right, and I think the community knows LCSO is always working to involve the youth and learn more about what is happening in the home, at school. So this is an extension to that, digging deeper into not only the school resources, but now the online factor and specifically game addiction.
Yeah, that's something, you know, I had no idea of how insidious it is into the lives of our kids and what damage is being done by those interactions. So I'm looking forward to learning something today, as our citizens do, and also try to find out ways we can assist in trying to fight this crime in our community.
Awesome. Well, listen, this isn't just a segment for the parents, but also for the community. So I'm sure many people will want to stay in tune to what's going to happen, what the executive vice president has to say about game addiction, and how your children's world plays a part.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, Sheriff, it takes a community to raise a child. Just in general, when you think about how that's going to have an impact on young adults and youth children, how is this conversation going to impact them?
Well, first of all, you know, I talked about this from a crime perspective, and when you've got kids out there who are in the gaming circumstances, one, the parents have no idea what's taking place in that child's life in terms of their being on the internet or what they're on those games, and the damage that the games do. Many times these kids find themselves acting out, and because of their only life is the games, and that takes them, consumes them, and their reaction sometimes becomes one where they're involved in crimes or being victims of crime because of the circumstance they find themselves in. And that's why I'm looking forward to having this conversation with Jeremy about how we can assist from law enforcement in helping the parents understand the dynamics of this gaming situation.
Right, and if you aren't familiar with your children's world, you will have a chance to dig deep into that conversation and what that program and that initiative has provided to the community and young adults. When we come back right after this, we will take a deeper dive into your children's world and just how much game addiction is impacting our youth today with the Sheriff and Jeremy Dold.
Good morning. I'm Captain Jimmy Goodman with the Leon County Sheriff's Office, and this is your Safety Tip Tuesday.
Whether you're behind the wheel of a car alone or with passengers, driving safely should be your #1 priority. Remember to always wear your seatbelt. Follow the rules of the road and drive the speed limit. If you are going to listen to music, set it at a reasonable volume where you can stay alert to all sights and sounds. Before you drive away, make sure all your lights are working, especially if you are driving at night. Secure all cargo that may move around while your vehicle is in motion. Be aware of what other drivers around you are doing and follow the car in front of you at a safe distance.
Have a great week. Stay safe out there.
an email from the post office. How do they even know my email address?
They don't. This is a bogus email sent by scammers that looks like it is coming from the Postal Service, or even the Postmaster General himself. The email contains fraudulent information about an attempted or intercepted package delivery, and provides a link to click on to find out when delivery is expected. But that click can activate a virus, which can steal personal information such as usernames, passwords, or financial account numbers stored on the computer or mobile devices. Here are some telltale signs that an email is bogus. It contains poor grammar or spelling errors. It states that immediate action must be taken or there'll be dire consequences. It requests personal information under the guise of reconfirming information. The Postal Service does not notify customers about package delivery attempts by email. If you receive such a message, don't open it. Instead, forward it to spam@uspis.gov and then delete the email.
Welcome back. Today we have Jeremy Dold, Executive Vice President of Children's World and Managing Partner for Risk Defenders, a local cybersecurity firm. Jeremy, talk to us about your company and exactly what are you doing and what are you doing in cyber?
Well, first I want to really thank you for having me on the show to talk about this epidemic. And I don't use that word lightly. I think it takes a lot of courage for you to tackle this issue in Leon County, and I want to commend you for leading that charge, especially with such an important issue with our youth and parents and grandparents and caregivers. So for myself, I'm I'm managing partner with a company called Risk Defenders, and we are a local cybersecurity consultant and artificial intelligence builder. We do a lot of making sure that small businesses protect what they have worked really hard to earn, and we use artificial intelligence to help make them run better. As it goes to your children's world with digital safety and online safety and digital addiction, this really goes to the heart of what we're talking about today and in terms of the safety of our kids online.
I don't know a lot about it, so what does it mean and what is the addiction and how does it manifest itself with our children?
That's a great question, and I will say, having seen you speak previously on this topic, you know more than you realize. You're ahead than a lot of parents out there, trust me. So digital addiction, the one thing that I think I'd say is, don't think about digital addiction as a weakness or a lack of self-discipline in the kids themselves. You've got to remember that digital addiction is an engineered compulsion. And what I mean by that is you've got some of the brightest minds, some of the most well-funded companies figuring out ways to release neurochemical transmitters like dopamine to keep kids and parents in social media apps and video games.
So now, if I've got a child at home and he or she's in their machine and they're gaming all the time, how do I intervene? How do I step into that space and get them out of 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
That's a hard thing to do because the horse is out of the barn at that point. But what you've got to do is have a conversation with the child. Kids are really astute and they understand that what they're doing isn't good for them. But remember, again, an engineered compulsion, that's why we call this digital addiction. What is released in their brains is not much different than an addiction to an opioid, for example. This is legal digital addiction for kids.
So is there any opportunities out there, or is there any processes by which we're identifying these kids, and you talk about it as a medical condition, where we're having those interventions take place?
Mm-hmm. I think if you look at it from that addiction perspective, you're going to see things that you see from that spectrum. You're going to see changes in behavior. You're going to see, with kids especially, you're going to see a decrease in performance at school. You might see social withdrawal. You might see the interest that they used to have. They used to love baseball, but now they don't want to play it anymore because they want to go back into that room and play a video game instead. All of that takes them out of the real world and puts them into the virtual world where you have no idea what's going on.
With that in mind, how does we in law enforcement, how do we get into that space and how do we help the parents out there deal with these issues?
I think with law enforcement, you're already in that space. You're already having to deal with cyberbullying. You're already having to deal with sextortion issues, especially prevalent in young men today, young boys. They are being probably one of the fastest global crimes in our period right now of law enforcement. But also cyberbullying becomes a very, very horrible epidemic we've also recently just had states at Childs, for example, there was that issue where one of the kids was on an online game and decided they got angry. Were they going to do something? We don't know. But you have to respond accordingly. So there's a lot of things that law enforcement can do. But I will say, this really falls on the parents. Being a parent, I have 3 beautiful daughters. We had the same issues. I don't fault the kids. We're the ones that gave them these devices. We're the ones that said, this is a great babysitter. Let go and go forth.
Hold that thought, Jeremy. Coming up, we're going to talk about AI and the role it serves in preventing digital addictions. Stay tuned.
At the Florida Sheriff's Association, we are able to serve our sheriffs and Floridians thanks to our members' support. The FSA Member Perks program was created to give back to our members for all that they do. Members enjoy savings on restaurants, vacations, golf courses, car rentals, healthcare, movie tickets, theme parks, online shopping, and more. With over 300,000 offers, you'll always find ways to save. To learn more or to join the Florida Sheriff's Association, visit fsamemberperks.org.
Hey everybody, it's gonna be just plain hot out there.
In 70-degree weather, it takes only minutes for the inside of your car to heat up like an oven. At 104 degrees, heat stroke begins, followed by loss of consciousness. Every year, almost 40 children die of heat stroke after being forgotten in a vehicle. A simple change in daily routine is often the cause. Look before you lock. Brought to you by Kids in Cars.
Another teenager, victim to fake pills. That smells like big crime that needs to be stopped. Before buying pills online, think about this. Should buying prescription pills be this easy?
Yeah, bro, I'm picking up. Same guy. I bet. Got you 5.
Think these pills are tested and safe? Think they're the same ones you get from a doctor? You know they're not. Did you know that fake prescription pills may contain fentanyl? And an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal. Listen, before buying pills from social media, think again. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org and go for real.
Welcome back. We're involved in the future of technology. Let's start with the basics about what it's like for a parent and in terms of future technology.
Fantastic question. So first off, let's dissect artificial intelligence a little bit. Artificial intelligence is not omniscient. It does not know everything. It makes mistakes. It can hallucinate. So you might ask it a question. You might ask it, how many R's are there in strawberry? And it's going to say 2. Not all models are created equal either. Some are what's called a reasoning model, which has a thought process. Some are just very much like ChatGPT, where it knows how to easily predict the next word that should come after the word before it. So these are very simplistic things. They're nothing to be afraid of, but they're not the scary monster that I think a lot of people think they are. They can also do a lot of good. And like any tool, they can be used for lots of different things.
Jeremy, that's great information, but what are your thoughts about the role AI play and what's ahead for us with respect to AI and the gaming?
So AI is only going to get smarter. AI is only going to get faster. It's going to get more intuitive. It is going to learn more. New models are released. New major models such as ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini are released every 4 to 8 months, with minor releases probably every 3 months. And every time you see one released, there's a new one released. They all have more capabilities that are going to accelerate, and I would love to be an optimist in this regard, but they're going to accelerate some of the negative things that we see today. Deepfakes, voice deepfakes, the ability to create videos, and that's going to have pretty negative outcomes on cyberbullying and some of the other scams that are perpetrated today.
That's incredible, Jeremy. But what would you like the parents to know about how they can manage the screen time that their children have with these devices, with these games?
You know, it's a really interesting question. And I think the question and the answer goes back to the parents. So the first advice I would give to parents is, if you haven't already given your child a device, do not give them one. Wait as long as possible. There are parents that do it today. The second thing that I would say is, do an audit on yourself, because our kids see what we do and they're going to emulate us. Be the role model that you want them to be. I would also try and have some of those experiences outside the house. Take them, there's Leon County and the Forgotten Coast area have so much to offer. There's the Junior Museum. There are so many things for families to get out and do with each other. Experiences that are going to create those bonding moments, because what you want to create is an environment where when your child, whether you're a parent, a grandparent, or a caregiver, when your child gets in trouble on the internet, that they feel like they can trust you. They feel like they can come to you and they know that there's going to be consequences, but they know that they need your help.
Yeah, I've got 3 teenage grandsons, and it concerns me. But what can we tell parents and families about their children, and what resources out there, your company, how do they get in touch with you, and how can you help?
So Your Children's World is specifically built to tackle this. We are not an organization that wants to feed all of this to the kids and say, you kids are doing the wrong things. Kids are doing what we have given them the tools to do. Our task is to use our website, www.parentdigitalanswers.org, or parentda.org for short, a little easier to remember, where we have resources on games, social media apps, some of the dangers that each of those pose, some of the experiences that parents are going to be unaware that their children are experiencing every time they enter that virtual world. We've got 5 basic parenting rules. Number 1 that I love the most from our list is love your child. Love your child unconditionally. That's what you have to do.
That is incredible. Well, Jeremy, I can't express how much we appreciate you, and we'll probably have you back on this show to talk more about that in the future, because it really is something that all the parents need to know about. Up next, in our Deputy on Duty, you'll get a chance to meet and learn the stories behind some of the fearless deputies whose courage and sacrifice go beyond the call. Stay tuned.
A 19-second conversation with a stranger online can put your child in danger of being exploited or abused.
Talking to kids about online safety can protect us for a lifetime. Don't wait. Talk to us today.
An email from the post office. How do they even know my email address?
They don't. This is a bogus email sent by scammers that looks like it is coming from the Postal Service, or even the Postmaster General himself. The email contains fraudulent information about an attempted or intercepted package delivery, and provides a link to click on to find out when delivery is expected. But that click can activate a virus, which can steal personal information such as usernames, passwords, or financial account numbers stored on the computer or mobile devices. Here are some telltale signs that an email is bogus. It contains poor grammar or spelling errors. It states that immediate action must be taken or there'll be dire consequences. It requests personal information under the guise of reconfirming information. The Postal Service does not notify customers about package delivery attempts by email. If you receive such a message, don't open it. Instead, forward it to spam@uspis.gov and then delete the email.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
In this segment of Deputy on Duty, we introduce 3 deputies who recently earned life-saving medals for their contributions to the community.
Just training and experience. You gotta stay vigilant in this job, or because anything at any time can hit you, from somebody with a flat tire on the side of the road to an actual shooting in progress.
On October 15th, 2024, Deputies Sellers and Kelly were dispatched to a call about an individual that had potentially been shot. They immediately headed to the scene and got to work.
Once we deemed the scene was safe, I approached the individual and was able to assess what was going on, figure out if he's conscious or alert. He was coming in and out of consciousness, was able to get his shirt off and see what was actually going on, observed that he had multiple gunshot wounds to his chest and to his bottom of his stomach area. And I immediately provided aid, so I was able to get chest seals on him, on his chest, and able to get chest seals on his stomach, and got him alert and talking. He was able to provide some limited information.
Stay with me. Look at me. Stay with me.
It was learned that he was fighting for his life. Initially, somebody had called out that he was deceased. Come to find out that he pushed through that, and he was still being worked on. He was still alive, and then made it through after he came out of surgery.
It is essential for deputies to stay vigilant and adaptable when responding to calls. In this field, adaptability and a strong work ethic are essential.
I was going out into patrol, it's just a regular shift, and I got dispatched to a woman who was calling about her son who needed some help. He was hurting himself, hitting himself, and he was having some sort of mental health crisis. Given the urgency in the call, I responded with lights and sirens. I was actually coming from the opposite side of the county, and it was in my zone, but I was also the closest one, so it's a pretty good distance to have to go. I get there, and when I first made contact with the subject and his mom, whom he was actively trying to strangle to death, he had an exorbitant amount of strength. There was no getting in between him and his mother. So I used my resources with my training that I received. I utilized the proper equipment and techniques, and I got him separated from his mother.
Deputy Bauman, Sellers, and Kelly all say that LCSO training has equipped them to respond to calls and incidents efficiently, effectively, and most importantly, safely.
Paying attention to all the training that Leon County Sheriff's Office provides, it's world class, it's first class. It is absolutely the best kind of training that you can receive. So paying attention, applying those trainings to our everyday job has prepared me for moments like that.
In recognition of their extraordinary efforts in recently saving 2 lives, the LCSO proudly awarded these deputies with life-saving medals.
So it means a lot being able to be recognized, for all the work that you do, in saving individuals' lives. Like, I wanted to come and be as deputy sheriff to save lives, and it's a prime example of me being able to live that out.
It definitely feels like I've completed the goal that I kind of set out for myself when I started this job, which was to help people, and it definitely feels like I did that.
If you're ready to make a difference in someone's life, apply for a job at the Leon County Sheriff's Office today. Visit our website, leoncountyso.com. For Leon County Today, I'm Giovanni Hampton.
Download the Leon County Sheriff's Office mobile app right now. Our mobile app makes it easier than ever to report a crime and get important safety alerts. and follow reported crimes in your neighborhood, all in one convenient location in the palm of your hands. Download LCSO Connect right now. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play by searching LCSO Connect. You can more details about the features of the app on our website, leoncountyso.com.
Welcome back to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. Sheriff, there's so much work being done and lives to be saved on a daily basis when you wear that uniform. And when you think about how our deputies are contributing to that each and every day.
Yeah, each day that our deputies get up and put that uniform on and put the vest on, the shield, and they go out, they know not what they're going into. They have no idea what life issues is going to be confronted with in that particular time and day. And not only Leon County Sheriff's Office, but law enforcement officers all over the country do the same thing. And that's why it's so important to have citizen support and understanding about what that job entails and the heart impacts on families. And our guys and ladies do a tremendously great job, and I'm honored to have the ability to give them awards and give them recognition on an ongoing basis. But it's sometimes a thankless job, but I try to make sure it's not.
And then we don't want to shy away from the term hero, but in this essence, to have a life savings award, to be recognized as a distinguished civilian, you're a hero.
Oh, absolutely. I tell people all the time, law enforcement folks in particular, that the greatest gift we can have is life. And when our deputies go out there and they save a life, you can't do anything better than that. And they do it quite often.
Yeah, and then with the gaming addictions, you just had a wonderful conversation. All of the information about how to protect children, how law enforcement can be involved. What was the biggest takeaway in that conversation with Jeremy?
The thing, Giovanni, is that there's so much we don't know about what's taking place in our community, and having people like Jeremy come on the show and talk about it and get it out there to our citizens and let them know what's taking place so that we can be better armed in trying to address those issues. And the more we know and the more our citizens know, the better off we are in trying to address it and bring some resolve to the issues and problems that we have. And this is just one of those ongoing issues for our youth in our community.
Yep, it's an ongoing conversation. Well, thank you so much, Sheriff, and I was happy to be here to fill in for Shonda.
You were all in.
All in.